Today we're going to discuss the Botham Jean case involving former Dallas police officer Amber Guyger. The Botham Jean case in Dallas, Texas. This is the case of former Dallas police officer Amber Guyger, who shoots Botham Jean in his own apartment, where she alleges that she thought that she was in her apartment, believing that Mr. John was an intruder, and she shot him. The 911 call of Amber Guyger immediately after shooting Botham Jean has been unofficially released. Listen to the call. It's not very long, and then I'll be back to discuss more facts.
Get up, man.
Dallas 911, this is Carla. Where's your emergency?
Hi, this is an off-duty officer. I need EMS. I'm in number.
What's your address? Do you need police as well or just EMS?
Yes, I need both.
Okay, what's the address?
I'm at apartment number 1478. I'm in 1478.
And what's the address there?
It's 1210 South Lamar, 1478. Yeah.
What's going on?
I'm an off-duty officer. I thought it was in my apartment, and I shot a guy thinking it was my apartment.
You shot someone?
Yes, I thought it was my apartment. I'm fucked. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Okay, and where are you at right now?
I'm in, what do you mean? I'm inside the apartment with him. Hey, come on.
What's your name?
I'm Amber Guyger. I need to get me, I'm in.
Okay, we have help on the way.
I know, but I'm going to lose my job. I thought it was my apartment.
Okay, and
hey, man.
Hold on.
Fuck.
Okay, stay with me, okay?
I need a new supervisor.
We have help.
Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Come on. Oh, fuck. I thought it was my apartment.
I understand. No, we have help on the
I
way,
thought it
okay?
was my
South Lamar.
Hurry, please.
They're on their way.
I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. I could have sworn I parked on the third floor.
Okay, I understand.
No. I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment.
And what's the gate code there?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I need them. I thought it was my apartment.
They're trying to get in there. We have an officer there. You don't know the gate code?
No. I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment.
Okay, and what floor are you in right now?
The fourth floor. Fourth. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. They're coming. They're bud. I'm sorry, man.
Okay, where was he shot?
He's on the top left.
Okay, you're with Dallas PD, right?
Yes. Oh my God, I'm done. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. Hey, bud.
They're trying to get there to you, okay?
I know. Stay with me, bud. Holy fuck.
Okay, they're almost there. They're already there. They're trying to get to you.
Holy fuck. I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. Holy fuck. I thought it was my apartment. Oh my god. Fuck. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my god.
Okay, they're trying to get there to you. Do you hear them? Do you see them?
No. No. I how the fuck did I touch it? How did I do this for? I'm just tired. Hurry. Over here.
Okay, go ahead and talk to them.
No, it's me. I'm off duty. I thought they were in my apartment. I thought this was my floor.
This is the issue that the jury is going to have to decide. For those of you who are not familiar with the factual beginning of this particular case, is that on September 6th of 2018, Guyger, who's an off-duty police officer returning home after a long shift at work, goes to an apartment on one floor lower than her apartment. She believes that she's on the correct floor. She goes to the apartment, the door is open, and she goes in. She apparently hears or sees Mr. John, but according to her, the lights are off. She reacts and ultimately shoots who she believes is a burglar or some sort of intruder. Somehow, immediately after shooting Mr. John, realizes that this is not her apartment. She calls 911 and ultimately says, I've shot an individual. And she states from the beginning, I thought it was my apartment. But what you also hear is that she is more concerned about her job than providing aid to Mr. John. The entire conversation with dispatch, she's concerned about her job. She needs to contact a supervisor. To use her words, she was effed. She was more concerned about protecting her employment opportunities than treating Mr. John. Most police officers have initial emergency paramedic skills, CPR type of skills, start the breathing, stop the bleeding, protect the wound, and treat for shock. Simple, life-saving steps. She apparently did nothing. You can hear her say throughout the call, hey, buddy, hang in there, buddy. That's what she did. On September 7th, Guyger's police chief says that this is not being investigated any further as an officer-involved shooting. She was issuing a warrant for Guyger's arrest. On that same day, on the 7th, the police obtained a search warrant to go in and continue their investigation of Botham Jean's apartment. And the warrant states that Guyger went to the apartment and was confronted at the door by an unknown male who she may have thought was an intruder. A neighbor said he heard an exchange of words immediately followed by 2 gunshots. On September 8th, the police are no longer involved in the investigation, and the Texas Rangers take over. The Texas Rangers did not immediately seek a warrant for Guyger's arrest because they wanted to interview her and were investigating new information. On September 9th, Guyger turns herself in and is charged with manslaughter. On that same evening, shortly after turning herself in, she posts a $300,000 bond and is released. On September 10th, the Texas Rangers provide information that Guyger had told authorities that she had mistakenly parked on the 4th floor instead of the 3rd and had inserted her key, which is a key card, into John's door, which was slightly ajar. and that the complex was dark, and believing that she was in fact being burglarized. The affidavit also included information that the reason why the door may have been ajar was that Botham Jean was expecting some visitors. Surveillance video is obtained in the apartment complex. This video is also available, and it shows Ms. Guyger out of the apartment walking back and forth on her phone. Items that the police thought of interest in this particular case were that there were 2 cartridges that were found in the apartment, a laptop, a ballistic vest with police markings on it, 10.4 grams of marijuana, and a marijuana grinder. There were additionally 2 packages of medical aid. The warrant did not specify to whom the items belonged to, but that the police vest was probably Guyger's. Jumping ahead to September 24th, Guyger is ultimately fired after an internal affairs report is concluded. Also on September 24th, Botham Jean is laid to rest in St. Lucia. On October 26th, Botham Jean's family files suit against Guyger and the city of Dallas, claiming Guyger used excessive force, violating Jean's constitutional rights. This is commonly known as the 1983 action. On November 26th, a grand jury hears more evidence regarding the case against Guyger for the death of Botham Jean and returns an indictment for murder. Once again, after the indictment comes down, Guyger is booked and posts yet another $200,000 bond and is quickly released. Once this case made it to court, the judge immediately issued a gag order against all parties involved. The trial is now currently set for September, where a jury will decide what culpability, if anything, Ms. Guyger has for the death of Botham Jean. There's a couple of things from the defense perspective that are going to make it an uphill battle. Now, certainly, as in most police-type shooting cases, if this was subject to an officer shooting while Ms. Guyger was on duty, the internal affairs investigation would clear them and state that she had reason to believe that she was in fear for her life and that the shooting was justified. The fact that she was off duty in the wrong apartment makes you have to wonder what she was doing there. I have forgotten where I've parked my car. Sometimes I have forgotten where I have left my keys. I don't think that I have ever recalled walking into someone else's apartment. It just doesn't happen unless somebody is intoxicated. And in this particular case, Guyger did take a blood test shortly after this incident, but the results have not been released. Ms. Guyger has to be able to explain why she did what she did. If you arrive home to your apartment, whether you are a police officer or not, and you find the door ajar, you would probably do some investigating, perhaps see, is this my apartment? If you believe there's an intruder inside, why don't you step away, back from the door, call the police, ask for backup? Yes, you're a police officer, but why do that? To enter into a dark apartment without turning on the lights, without having a flashlight on, to shoot the first person that you see or hear, and apparently there is some sort of an exchange, Ms. Guyger is going to have a problem. Now, whether a jury is going to say that it is first-degree murder or whether it is manslaughter or something in between is truly a question of fact for the jury to decide. Was it murder? We've talked about this. After deliberation can take seconds. It doesn't take minutes. It doesn't take days. It doesn't take hours. It takes seconds. And that's what the jury is going to have to decide. The defense is going to have a tough road ahead of them. Having represented people in similar type cases, here in Colorado, we have the Make My Day law. If you believe that you are in fear in your home, you can basically shoot first and ask questions later. And most of the time, the people are cleared of any wrongdoing. In fact, the intruder, if they survive, usually is charged with burglary, criminal trespass. There was a case not long ago where the young lady was drunk, went into the house and was shot in the hip, and she was ultimately charged with trespassing. But my experience is that the jury will want to know why you did what you did and why you didn't retreat or take some other action other than resorting to using deadly force. Just a defense attorney's perspective. So that particular case is up to the jury. We'll be following it. I'm sure there's a lot of information to come in the future. It'll also be curious to see whether Ms. Guyger enters a plea prior to the trial date. Thank you for watching Crime Talk. Have a great day. Please like the channel. Please subscribe. And please hit that little bell.